So the first thing we heard on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw is that we were going to get a triple threat match to determine a number one contender for Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship. And it was LA Knight taking on Jey Uso, taking on CM Punk, which makes sense because they all hate each other. Also, how great is this? It's Monday afternoon and I get to do ups and downs. Usually it's like 3 a.m. or up to 3 a.m, or sometimes I sleep and I wake up at 5:30. You don't need to know this information. I'm just telling you. If this episode of Raw feels exceptionally positive coming from me, it could be due to the environment. That's how the world works. Also, my friends, welcome to the show. I watch professional wrestling, so you don't have to. The finger of power is slightly dislocated at the moment, but actually that's the thumb. This is the finger of power. I've watched Raw from Perth, Australia, mate. So let's give the good bits an up and the bad bits are down. Now, Seth Rollins came out to start the show dressed like Sherlock Holmes. I thought he was going to save some crimes. And given what was going to happen at the end of this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, this actually made all the sense. Because I was watching it and I was like, hang on a minute, Seth. Not only are you being a little bit patronizing to Bron Breakker and Bronson and Paul Heyman, but he made a very big point of going, man, I did it by myself. That stupid Roman Reigns, he needed the Shield, he needed the Bloodline, Cody Rhodes needed me at WrestleMania 40. And do you know who Seth Rollins needed? No one. Nada. Zero. Not anyone. So if I was one of the Brons, I'd be like, what am I, man? Like cheese on the side of the road? I am offended. We also got wanker chants all over the place. I mean, the Perth crowd chanted wanker at Seth Rollins, so he called them wankers. And as I told you on SmackDown, wanking does mean masturbation. There's nothing I can do. What do you want me to do? I have to tell you the truth. And if you were going to watch anything from this promo, watch the first thing that Seth Rollins said. I think he was trying to say, I don't know, welcome Perth, Australia, or I'm here, Perth, Australia. But instead he just goes, Perth, Australia. I thought he was dead. He also said he was the greatest champion of all time, given what he had done over the weekend, which he had done by himself when he got a big pyrotechnics display, and they just left. Nobody interrupted. And by this point, if you were feeling, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're doing this with the Vision again, I kind of would have understood it. But yeah, we got a big old twister row at the end of this show. So it's one of those things you go back watch in hindsight. I'm absolutely giving it an up, because without this, the ending wouldn't have worked. They connect together like a jigsaw. Rusev then yelled at Penta because he was so damn mad that Penta was getting an Intercontinental title match before Rusev revealed that next week he gets the winner. So I was like, Ruru, I like you a lot. You're a great professional wrestler, but you can just let this one die, man. It's really not a problem. Dominik was great here as well because he turned the corner and saw Rusev and then freaked out and left when it was Dominik Mysterio taking on Penta for the Intercontinental title. Not only did they have such a fun match, they were just flipping and flying all over the place, but this Australian crowd loved Dominik Mysterio so much that towards the end, they were booing Penta. Do not get me wrong, when Penta made his entrance, they loved him too, but they decided, nope, dirty dog, we're on your side and we'll be on your side for life. There was this really cool part as well when Penta back body dropped Mysterio onto the announce table, which looked horrific. And my only slight issue with this match is around about 12 minutes in, Rusev just stormed to the ring. Why? What does he care? The commentators tried to say it like, oh my gosh, he wants to take on Dominik Mysterio, but nothing he did here would have guaranteed that. He got lucky because Penta dove on him. We got 3 dives in this match. He put 3 on the dive counter, and of course, it meant that Penta was distracted, so put a 1 on the dick board, and Dominik Mysterio didn't care. He cheated. He hit the 619. He hit the frog splash. 1, 2, 3. He also smacked Penta with a hammer. I believe our crime counter rule was if it happens within a match, we don't call the police, but you know, that is a weapon. Nobody cared though, because the beauty of Dominik Mysterio is that he can do Eddie Guerrero stuff, and not only are people fine with this, they actually want to see it, so that's massive kudos to him. And yes, next week, it will be it will be Dominik taking on Rusev. I'm giving it down for Rusev coming out because, man, just figure out a better way to have Penta lose. He was going to get hit in the head with a hammer. Not everyone needs to walk to the ring, especially when you knew that Ruru already had an Intercontinental title shot. That's me being a nerd, right? Boot that over here. It doesn't matter. I am going to give it an up, honestly. It was so damn fun. That's why I watch wrestling and have a good time. We then had a quick back and forth between LA Knight and CM Punk. LA Knight was like, I am going to win the World Championship because if I win tonight, I'll definitely beat Seth Rollins, which is quite a way to go about it. And CM Punk popped his head in and went, you've never been a world champion. As far as I can tell, you never will be. So essentially, they both really dislike each other. We then had one of the most horrific backstage segments we've had for a while, because Asuka was going totally nuts at Kairi Sane because, of course, she had lost the crown jewel. Honestly, This felt a little bit dangerous. It felt a little bit like, Oscar, man, you got to calm down. And Oscar was so mad, she said, you're going to take on Rhea Ripley this evening to prove your worth to me. When Kairi showed off this horrific bruise she had on her face, and Oscar slapped her right in the cheek. I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting really sort of like nasty, man, and toxic. There's a 2025 word, but you've got to give it up to Oscar, the Empress of Tomorrow. She just comes across like such a despicable person, and of course she's great in the ring. She should probably be one of the champions very soon. We went right into this match as well, and of course Rhea Ripley was massive over because we are in Australia, and Oscar and Io Sky were on the outside. And as soon as they started fighting, once again, they were just lamping each other right in the face. I'm just going to remind you of this. Go back to Crown Jewel and watch that tag team match, mostly for everything that Io and Oscar did. Honestly, that is some next level professional wrestling. I thought Kairi Sane was great here as well because she will get aggressive, but she's also terrified of Oscar. And this theme continued, which is a stupid word for me to use, because her original entrance music is back. That's her, that's the Street Profits, somebody else had that too. So something is going on. I don't know what it is. Now we do have to throw the dick board on there because of course Oscar was trying to get involved anytime she could, which is why Io was out there as well. And I thought the commentators sold this perfectly because they were like, the reason Kairi is going so super duper crazy here isn't out of love, isn't out of respect, it's because she's scared of Oscar. I was like, yeah, well, I'm scared of her too. If she comes into my house, you'll probably boot me in the nose. There were so many cool moves in this as well, including this insane elbow to the outside on Rhea. And when Kairi hit her in the stomp in the corner, I think she quite literally stomped her. That's when Oscar got a bit worried once again, and she jumped on the ring apron, and she was like, hey, look over here, because wrestlers love to do that. Of course, Guy grabbed her and booted her right in the skull. And Kairi's like, no, Oscar, I'm sorry, I've done it again. But she turned around and she got riptide and pinned for the 1, 2, 3. Now, quite clearly, the Kabuki Warriors were not going to let this lie, because they grabbed Rhea Ripley and killed her. Because Oscar grabbed Io Sky and threw her into the ring post, and even though Rhea was able to reverse this a little bit, and she was going to do something dastardly through Alan the announce table, Kairi returned with a flipping kendo stick. She battered Ripley when Oscar grabbed her and DDT'd her into Alan. Kairi Sane was so good. She is so scared of Rhea Ripley. She stuck the stick right in her throat. She's like, oh my gosh, she may get up. I gotta keep her down. Just felt like Kairi was desperate for praise here as well. So this whole storyline is just brilliant, and everyone plays their role so well. Like when Rhea Ripley won, Io Sky was just going, yes, yes. She was like a cartoon character. It was also very sweet. It's the only word I could come up with. I'm absolutely giving it an up. You have to presume this ends in, I don't know, Rhea Ripley versus Oscar or something like that. But I kind of think Oscar should win the championship, and all of these people should be involved in it too. They're just flipping good. This is when we got a second promo with Rusev, and I doubt this airs all over the place. It could be one of those commercial ones. But I wanted to include it because he actually says, Penta, you're a man who hides his face with a mask, so now I am going to hide your body in the dirt. That's a 1 on the crime counter. You can't say that. You mostly just said, not only am I going to murder you, but I'm going to hide all the evidence. This is when we come to Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso in the back, and they're still having problems because Jimmy Uso was getting ready to fight Bronson Reed, and Jey was like, look, man, screw Roman Reigns. It's always about him, and he never wants our help anyway. And that's why I can't help you either, bro. I've got to focus on my main event because the last time I got involved, I wound up losing my championship to Gunther because early in the night I'd gotten interfered and I got myself injured. No more. Jimmy Uso took offense to that because you would take offense to that. Like, I don't need your help to take on Bronson Reed. So he marched to the ring to take on Bronson Reed, who had just defeated Roman Reigns. I was like, Jimbo, this does not look good for you. We went right into that as well. And listen, you're not going to believe it. Big Jim had like rib or tum-tum problems. So somebody had tied the magical tape around his stomach as if that was going to help. Now, he did run wild on Bronson for a little bit. But as soon as Reed did take over, he went after this area, and shock horror, wrapping some cotton around you, did absolutely nothing. The commentators once again deserve a shout out though, because Wade Barrett and Michael Cole kept going, excuse me, Bronson Reed beat Roman Reigns, and that is tippity-whippity super good. And it has helped. Bronson did feel like an absolute murder during this, and people were cheering him during the intro promo, and they were getting behind him here too. I understand he was in his hometown, but I think this win is going to do good things for this man. I love Jimmy's strategy as well, which was no mercy on the Nintendo 64. He was like, look, we're going to pick you up, and when I drop you down, that's going to be doubly bad, because you're a big guy. When his back came out, so Reed was like, all right, well now I'm going to squash you with a senton, I'm going to hit you with a tsunami, and he beat him for the 1, 2, 3. Now, obviously, this was the right thing to do. I love Jimmy Uso, but whoever beats Roman Reigns, well, Bronson Reed should not lose until at least 2026. And what I really liked is after this, Bron Breakker was here, and of course he speared Jimmy Uso when Jey Uso did run out, because even though he's acting heelish, he can't help it. He is a babyface deep down in his tootsie toes, and it didn't really work out because he took some shots too. I really enjoy this storyline. I think it's layered, and even though Jey Uso kind of wants to be Roman Reigns, you got to be true to your heart, man. And he's just not a dickhead. No, he didn't entirely tie into the main event, although it kind of did in other ways too, but we'll get there. But I am going to give it an up, because again, all the matches on this show, well, they did exactly the kind of job they should have done. Lyra, Kairi, and Bayley were then having a chat backstage, and Lyra went, listen, if you go nuts later, or you do anything to me, we're never going to tag again. I was like, Lyra, this is completely on you. If you know she can go potty any given moment, the fact you're taking the risk to begin with, well, you ain't getting no sympathy from me. They were taking on Roxanne, Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez as well as part of the Judgment Day, and they have been feuding. Really, they had a big old brawl on the outside to start with because they all hate each other. I mean, they have been fighting for like 72 weeks. It eventually built to Lyra Valkyria a hot tag, and she did run wild. I tell you, Lyra is very good. When Bayley got in there after taking a med pack, and Raquel just squished her. Now, I think this is when Lyra realised, oh, we've got to do something, but she also got frustrated with Bayley. So she slapped her around the face, which was the second slap we'd seen on this evening, when she freaked out like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Like when you eat the fourth donut and your stomach tells you when how bad things are coming. But actually what happened is she triggered Bayley's nuts switch, but it was like the good nut switch, whatever that means, because all of a sudden bells went crazy. She did a double dive onto the Judgment Days and put a 1 on the counter when she hit Roxanne with the rose plant, and she got the 1, 2, 3. Lyra the whole time was like, oh man, this person crazy, but at least we won. So this character is certainly interesting, although I don't need Michael Cole to tell me ever again, oh, I've been getting some text messages from Bayley, and they change every single day. I thought that was hitting it on the nose a little bit too much, but I am going to give it an up, even though I have no idea where it's going. It gets even weirder for Roxanne Perez later, but I shall take it on the merit that it was presented to me here, whatever that means. Once again, I had a good time up. This one we cut backstage and Seth Rollins was talking to his boys. And once again, you have to go watch it twice now. Because he said to Paul Heyman, I can tell that something big is in my future, when he said to Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, in my professional life, this weekend has meant more to me than anything I've ever done. And he went, the birth of my child, the marriage to my wife, and now us being friends. It really makes me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. I'll admit, I didn't think anything of it at the time, but now, yeah, with hindsight, I was like, Seth, you were always going to die. But then a quick promo with Maxine Dupree, and no wrestler has ever been so happy to win a match, and because she did defeat Becky Lynch by countout next week, she has an Intercontinental title shot. Couldn't help it. I was like, Maxine, I think you're in a similar boat to Seth, and you are taking on his wife. Becky Lynch is going to kill you. We then cut backstage to Adam Pearce, who was with AJ Styles, and I laughed out loud because AJ went, did you know I was in the ring with John Cena? And Adam was like, oh, I did know. As if he'd missed the entire pay-per-view. I'm a child. When Dominik Mysterio walked in and he put his foot in it, he was like, man, why am I the only person defending my title around here? It's absolute beef. And AJ was like, well, that's a good point. Why don't your friends Finn Balor and JD McDonagh put their Raw tag team titles on the line against me, AJ Styles, and Dragon Lee, and together, of course, they become AJ Lee. Now, that's absolutely ridiculous, and what they've done as a tag team to deserve this, I don't know. I understand they have won a few matches, but at least we are getting a tag team title match on Raw. I think it's been about 105 days since the last one. You know my feelings with this. I still think the Raw tag team division needs a fire being lit under its ass. But AJ Styles is great, so this will probably be great. Jackie Redmond was then talking to Stephanie Vaquer, and let me make it very clear. Anytime Stephanie Vaquer cuts a promo, I feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum, because she just comes across as such a genuine person. But here, out walked Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez, and fair play to Roxy, she had a point. She was like, I beat Io Sky before WrestlePalooza, so why did you get a WrestlePalooza shot? You can never sound serious when you say WrestlePalooza. And Stephanie was like, well, I'll take you on. I don't care. And Roxy was like, well, you have to take me on at my own given time, so it'll probably happen at a pay-per-view or on Raw randomly. My only issue with this is like 40 minutes before this, Roxanne had been beaten by Bayley in a tag team match, so Stephanie, even as a babyface, could have gone, no, bro, you ain't getting nothing. You just lost. Instead of getting the match, I am giving that a down. It also just feels so rushed. I think of all the people Stephanie Vaquer can be given a good story, she flipping rules. Well, we went straight into our main event, which was CM Punk versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight to see who was going to become the #1 contender. And I will describe it as this. It was a very traditional triple threat match with Punk getting murked, so LA Knight and Jey could get back at it. When Punk got back in the ring to get his revenge, it worked on most levels. It was super duper fun. We probably won't be talking about it in a week, but they did exactly what they had to do. Now, we did make sure that we sold the idea that Jey Uso's ribs were hurting from getting beaten up earlier, so maybe that's why when he hit his Uso splash, I can't remember who it was now. I think it was CM Punk kicked out at the 1-2-ooh. Actually, it was LA Knight. The point is this. I am going to give it a down, mostly because this weekend has been a horrific reminder the finishers are no longer finishers. Actually, apart from the GTS, that usually does do the job. So everybody needs to follow Punk. We also made sure that LA Knight did hit the BFT, but of course Jey Uso stopped him from winning. So I do believe we'll go back to that program. But Punk was like, well, this works for me. And he did get his knees up after Jey had gone for another Uso splash. He hit the GTS, he got the 1-2-3. And CM Punk is now your #1 contender. Now, I'll be honest with you, even then I was like, you know what, Saturday night's main event's just around the corner. I'll take CM Punk versus Seth Rollins because they always do good promoing. But given what was going to happen afterwards, well, now it's way better. But we'll hit full stop here. I will give it an up. Now let's get into the twist. Because, of course, Seth Rollins' music hit and out came the Vision, and Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed destroyed everybody here, so Punk was outnumbered, and then they beat the piss out of him as Bronson hit the big tsunami. But just as Seth Rollins once again was going, oh, that's my ring, it's my title, I'm going to do all this by myself because I hate everyone, he went to celebrate. We got the credit box in the corner to make you think the show was about to end when Bron Breakker speared Seth Rollins. And I'll be honest with you, my friends, I looked around, I said to myself, well, I did not see that coming. Now, Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed had a meltdown here as well, so we at least sold it here like they had no idea. When Breakker said to Bronson, listen, mate, do you want to be with me or do you want to be with him? Bronson, quite clearly as a sheep, he was like, I'll be with you. He crushed Seth Rollins with the tsunami, and I guess Paul Heyman was like, well, there's no time like the present, and he held up both these guys' hands to end the Vision, or at least them allowed to become the Vision, and I actually think this is the best thing the WWE could have done. Like, this group has been fine, but it has been sort of, I don't know, by the numbers the last couple of weeks, so try something new, do something big, and really both Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker go, what do we need him for? We've been successful without Seth Rollins. Whether or not we turn Seth Rollins babyface, I do not know. We'll probably do a can they coexist tag team with CM Punk, but we wait and see. I'm not just going to give this an up, I'm going to give it a golden up. Obviously, WWE needs to make sure they justify this themselves, but when I sat down and thought about it, I was like, man, I've got about 42 different points where this does make sense, and that, my friends, is a really good way to end Raw, and ultimately, this will be better for Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. Bravo for taking a risk. I also absolutely love this episode of Raw as well. And yes, once again, it's probably because I watched it in the middle of the afternoon. But it all counts. It all comes together. I'm giving it an up. And if you would like my recommendation on whether you should watch it, you bet your ass. Especially that ending, Fabu. Shouldn't have done it. Now, of course, please do leave me a comment below if you did watch Raw to let me know what you thought about it. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen, which is my ups and downs, to smack it down, which I also enjoyed. What a patsy I am. Otherwise, my friends, have a lovely day. See you throughout the week.